Hey, you ever stop and think, if some of these cartoon characters live in real life, they wouldn't be famous, they'd be felons. And I'm talking straight crash out Rico worthy. Let's break it down. I rewatched their most crash out episodes, I matched them with real charges, I'm breaking down who's guilty, what they be charged with, and the exact moment they sealed their fate. It's deeper than you think. Alright, so for Mr. Krabs, we just gonna call him Krabs for now. He don't deserve his real name. Here's why. So as we know, Krabs be having my boy SpongeBob clocking in at 5 a.m. for pennies and trauma. But in season 3, episode 16, Born Again Krabs, bro sold SpongeBob's literal soul to the Flying Dutchman for 62 cents. Like, what more do you need after taking a soul for 2 quarters, a dime, and 2 pennies? Like, gang, trading a loyal employee for that cheap is insane. It's sort of like when a teacher gives you a pop quiz, right? The teacher is the Flying Dutchman, and Krabs fails immediately as the student. And this ain't even the first time he gambled SpongeBob's life. Man was treating contracts like Pokemon cards. Now imagine if the IRS pulls up on the Krusty Krab or somebody special. Actually, let's look at crime number 2. On the episode called Nasty Patty in season 2, Krabs and SpongeBob thought the health inspector was fake. So instead of asking questions, they served up a nasty patty made of toenails, toilet water, and straight up evil. When he collapses, they celebrate like he was deceased. Oh, and then they try to hide the body and lie to the cops. Now tell me, how did Bikini Bottom PD let that slide? Let's get into the next crime, but stick around because the 5th one was insane. Now look, on the episode called One Course Meal in season 7, Krabs finds out Plankton is scared of whales, and instead of minding his business, he dresses up as his own daughter just to terrorize this man every day. Plankton ends up having nightmares, becomes introverted, and straight up lays in the middle of the road, waiting to get ran over. And what does Krabs do? He laughs. Bro wasn't chasing money, he was chasing misery. That's evil, and I can't respect it. For the 4th crime in season 6 on the episode The Krabby Chronicle, Krabs starts a newspaper, right? Cool. But instead of facts, he makes SpongeBob write fake stories to embarrass the whole town. Larry loses gym access, Sandy gets her awards taken, even Plankton's business gets shut down. And when it all crashes, Krabs' big idea is, let's just print money instead. That's not just unethical, that's illegal. But as I said, for this last one in season 7 on the episode The Scent of Money, Krabs notices that Gary's shell was a magnet to coins. And instead of being amazed, he straps Gary up like a metal detector and starts robbing the entire town. Gary's clearly in pain, but Krabs don't care. Even calls him a Sneagle. A Sneagle? The hell is a Sneagle? Anyways, this is straight up exploitation of a pet, including petty theft. So to wrap it up, that's human trafficking, attempted murder, emotional torture, defamation, and animal abuse. And somehow Krabs is still running a daily business with 0 jail time. If the show had a real legal system, he would have been flipping patties in the prison cell. Judge Outtasight, sentences him 43 to 68 years in prison with a total fine of $600,000. Krabs not just a menace to Bikini Bottom, bro, a whole RICO indictment waiting to happen. But look, at least Krabs is crashing out for money. Robin, he's straight up crashing out because of feelings. Bro turned superhero work into a personal therapy session. Let's talk about the most unstable Teen Titan in the tower. See, fun fact, Robin actually my favorite character / hero of all time. Like, look at this real quick. To sum up Robin wanted Slade so bad, it became his whole personality and demeanor. He gaslit his team, ran secret missions behind their back, and basically turned into an evil Batman by ghosting and going rogue. He is not protecting the city, he is controlling it. Hear me out, I can prove it. And we didn't even talk about that Red X era. Yeah, actually we are about to talk about it. In season 1, episode 9, Masks, Robin went full creep mode when he became Red X without telling his team. He set up traps, monitored Slade obsessively, broke into vaults, all without the consent of authorities. I get it, but I mean, that's not as bad as his 2nd or 3rd crimes. I mean, listen to what Slade had to say about this.
How very noble of you, but stealing in order to trap me, that wasn't so noble. 2 wrongs don't make a...
Don't ever lecture me. Whatever you're planning, Slade, it's over.
On the contrary, Robin, it's just begun.
Now you know you went too far if Slade says so. Anyways, for his 2nd crime, at the beginning of the episode titled Haunted from season 3 episode 5, we see Robin reading through Slade's case reports and inspecting Slade's artifacts for no real reason at all. When Robin hallucinates and sees Slade, he gets mad that Starfire didn't catch him. Robin basically hurt Starfire when she was the only one that wanted to believe him that Slade was alive. Starfire clearly says, "Robin, you're hurting me," and he grabs her arm like he crazy. Oh wait, he is crazy. In the same episode, he's literally threatening his teammates' safety, trespassing, storming into a collapsing warehouse, and doing all types of stuff. He's selfish in a way because Beast Boy, Cyborg, Starfire, they all could have been crushed. That's criminal negligence in real world terms, and it's all because he's too high on slave paranoia. Robin's charges: stalking, unlawful surveillance, assault/emotional harm, and reckless endangerment. This means that Judge Outtasight's verdict, probably between 2 to 4 years in prison with a $20,000 fine. I'm sorry I had to do this to you, my boy, but you too, OC. So yeah, it's not like Robin crashed out for profit. He let his broken past and chasing ghosts get to him and hurt his loved ones along the way. Honestly though, Robin not even that bad, because next up we got a duo that literally destroys the world. If they don't call in sick, which they barely do. Let's talk about Mordecai and Rigby, the ultimate crash out workplace hazards. Now, look, I actually plan on breaking down Regular Show at some point in time. If you guys would like that video, let me know any topics you would like to see me personally break down. But I'm saying all this to say there are way too many examples for these two. I mean, look at them. Their first charge will be the second episode of the entire show. In the episode Just Set Up the Chairs, Mordecai and Rigby were told to just set up the chairs. Simple. Chill. Light work. Instead, they unlock a portal, release the Destroyer of Worlds, and almost got the entire park wiped off the map. Imagine failing at a task that easy. Like, don't get me wrong, they don't get paid as much, but I wouldn't slack that hard. If your task list ends with Save Earth, you had to have failed your shift. Now, next, in Season 2, Episode 2, titled It's Time, Mordecai gets jealous over a girl named Margaret. Again, I don't have to explain the entire episode because I can break down any episode y'all want me to separately, but long story short, they end up fighting and Mordecai microwaves all of the clocks to sabotage Rigby's date with Margaret. This creates a time travel warp, they end up pushing each other, then Mordecai accidentally kills Rigby. Like, that's not a real friend. But more on that another time. Mordecai literally kills him in a jealous rage. Clocking in, then clocking your homie out is crazy work. But we still have 2 more crimes. On episode 7, Grilled Cheese Deluxe from the first season, Mordecai and Rigby impersonated astronauts and ended up messing up a whole operation. It's all because they told everyone they were skilled enough to handle it. This is impersonating a federal officer, and I'm pretty sure NASA wouldn't even let them tour the building after this. But what's crazy is, it gets even crazier than that. In season 2, episode 19, Grave Sites, Mordecai and Rigby mess with the cursed graveyard while hosting a movie night. They reincarnate the deceased, zombies swarm the park, and innocent people are almost eaten by zombies. And well, because they were bored. Like, god damn, like it got to a point where they would just flat out get lazy. More of the story is, every shift ends with explosions or an alien invasion. Like, they almost destroyed the universe over just being sleepy. In real life, HR would have fired them and called the feds. So that's terrorism, murder slash attempted murder, I guess, because Rigby did come back, but then federal impersonation, and lastly, endangerment. Judge Outtasight's verdict is 25 through 43 years with fines up to $500,000. It possibly would have been more if intergalactic laws existed. So, like I said, they've literally warped time, but I wouldn't say it's as bad as this next reality warper. Because if Mordecai and Rigby accidentally mess with the universe, this next person did it on purpose. Let's talk about Timmy Turner, a 10-year-old with god powers and 0 emotional regulation. In season 1, episode 6, The Same Game, Timmy wishes everyone in the world looked the exact same. He erases individuality and causes an identity crisis. So we finna charge him with reality tampering. That ain't no insecurity, that's magical fascism. Bro said, if I can't stand out, nobody can. Okay, this next one's dark. In season 3, episode 15, It's a Wishful Life, Lil Bro gets sad and wishes himself out of existence. This literally causes the entire timeline to vanish. He sees that everyone is sort of doing better without him. I know, deep. Timmy essentially goes out of his way to do nice things for people, and because of some little small factors he knew nothing about, they pretty much act ungrateful because it wasn't done as good as they would have wanted it to be. Now look, wishing that he was never born isn't necessarily the crime, but what is a crime is pretty much faking your demise in a way. He should not have the powers to do this, he's too young. And although it's not inherently illegal, using magic to emotionally manipulate people and disappear without warning, this can be considered emotional harm, fraud, and conspiracy. So we'll charge Lil Timmy with this. So, Judge Outtasight's verdict, 1 to 3 years in juvenile prison. His fine will be limited to 1 wish per day. We went light on Lil Timmy. He's a kid, change can happen. Ooh, Peter? He's a grown man, 3 kids, a mortgage, and no filter at all. He didn't wish reality away, he blew it away. Lastly, let's talk about the family guy who's committed every crime in alphabetical order. On the episode Urban Cowboy, season 11, episode 15, Peter drives his car through a marathon just to win a race. Hundreds of people fly, and although it was supposed to be a funny cutaway scene, in real life, that's a charge of mass murder and domestic terrorism. Peter will be locked up forever. No parole, no jokes, no cutaways. The episode even got banned for a little while, and it was only available on DVDs. Many say due to the actual Boston Marathon tragedy that occurred in real life, which, I mean, I fully understand and I agree. But if you thought that was crazy, the next crimes that Peter does are insane. In season 19, episode 14, The Marion Kind, Peter and Chris find out that they can sneak into hotels and eat breakfast for free. Problem is, they continuously do it, and this ended up backfiring. It got Chris mic'd up and wired by the police. Peter ends up escaping, but Chris gets locked up. And what happens next deserves hard prison time.
In the end, Dad figured out a way we could keep eating breakfast together. We just had to kill a guard or two. Actually, we had to kill a bunch of guards. It was bad.
So, yes, Peter commits a capital offense and multiple homicides on duty officers and took their uniforms just so he and Chris can continue to eat together. This man will be sent straight to a supermax with no second chances. It looks like Peter is fine with all-you-can-eat breakfast for a permanent stay at the state penitentiary. Like, imagine serving 2 life sentences just for a pancake. Which brings me to his next life sentence. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, bro. Peter's last crime on this list might just take the cake. If Krabs is a menace to his employees, Peter's a menace to the entire United States of America. Speaking of the United States of America, Peter gets into an entire face-off with the US military. Long story short, bro literally detaches his home away from the US and deems his house as his own country. He names it the independent nation of Pretoria and annexes Joe's Pool in the meantime, renaming it Johio. Let's not forget to mention he remixes MC Hammer's song You Can't Touch This when being arrested for drinking in public.
Hey, that's against the law. You're coming with me.
Can't touch me. Can't touch me.
Peter spends the entire episode breaking laws for vandalizing public property, peeing outside, harassing citizens, stealing his neighbor's pool, and starting an international crisis. And it all started because he didn't get a tax refund for his pool. Classic Peter, right? So, for his legal charges, we got treason for imposing war against the US, grand theft for stealing Joe's pool, public disorder for public intoxication and indecent exposure, military interference for starting an international crisis, sedition for inciting rebellion with this Pretoria nonsense, and that terrible remix of MC Hammer. I, Judge Outtasight, will argue that Peter will receive no mercy as a grown man. So that's 6 life sentences plus 20 to 25 years. That's not all, because fines will be well over $10 million in damages and unlimited restitution to the entire Quahog, Joe's Pool, the US government, and anyone who had to hear his MC Hammer remix. So, long story short, Peter is not just a crash out, he's a walking indictment, a RICO case, and a national threat in green pens. And whoa, don't click away just yet. The next video above will be just as insane. You do not want to miss it. Trust me.